Imagine that you lived 500 years ago. You're standing in a marketplace, trading grain, wool, or tools you've made with your own hands. People arrive from other villages, sometimes other countries. You may not speak the same language, yet the transaction works because you both understand a few tiny symbols. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. There were no phones, no internet, no world summit for all to agree on the meaning of these notations. They survived centuries and crossed continents without technology. Today, they are still the same everywhere in the world. Why? Because they work. They're simple, universal, and they describe something fundamental about how the world operates. Here's the idea I want to share with you today. What if these same symbols don't just explain math? What if the meaning we assign to them unlocks what we're truly capable of? And that changes lives. I discovered this idea in the most unexpected place. I was teaching my first year of high school math. I came to teaching much later in life after a very successful career in business, and I had this big vision to change public education. That's another topic. So requirement is 2 years in the classroom before you move into administration. When I got an opportunity to teach mathematics, my favorite subject, at my high school alma mater, I jumped at the chance. I thought, how hard can it be? This is an easy stepping stone. This will be a piece of cake, right? So, as school got ready to start, I met with the principal and I asked him, what are your expectations for me in the classroom? He said, just do your best and build relationships. Being an achiever, I said, what's the percentage of students you expect for my class to pass in the state math assessment? He paused and said something I will never forget. Whatever you do will be better than they've ever done. What do you mean? I said. These students, he said, have very big struggles with mathematics and sometimes behavior. That's why they're in your class. None of them have ever passed the state assessment. None? None. I got the keys to the classroom and went to check it out and found that it wasn't in the math wing. It was tucked near the principal's office. I walked into a dirty, dingy, depressing classroom. The smell of old musty papers led me to a filing cabinet where handwritten and then photocopied worksheets of math problems were spilling out of the filing cabinet. The textbooks were covered with grime, but when I cracked one open, it was brand new. They were unused. And the former teacher, who was packing up and moving on, offered this advice. Just teach them to use the graphing calculators. That's the best you can do. And I remember thinking, that cannot be the best we can do. I made a commitment. These students, my students, were never going to feel less than again. So we got to work. My students came in that first day, and instead of first day excitement, I saw fear and dread and sometimes anger. Students who had been labeled and who had decided that they were somehow bad at math. Students who did believe that they were less than. Here's a truth. In mathematics, the symbols less than and greater than are powerful. They have no place in a room full of human beings. And I made a commitment that we were not going to have this feeling or just the best we can do for one more year. We got to work. We broke problems into smaller steps. We focused on effort. We celebrated progress. And yes, we built relationships. We ate lots of pizza in after-school study sessions. And then we agreed. We were as ready as we were going to be. We were focused not on the math test, but on high school graduation. That was our real target. Everyone, bring your A game and do your best. We were ready. So finally in the spring, our test results arrived, and as a teacher, you're taught to never share individual grades out loud in class. So first period, I stepped into the hallway and I invited students one at a time to receive their test grades, and then we would talk about what it meant, and I would ask, go back into the room, just keep a straight face and don't talk. Room full of high school kids, but don't talk. Can you do that? Yes, ma'am. And one by one, the students came out for their assessment grade. Then I followed the last student in and I said, okay, did anyone talk? And they were as quiet as I've ever seen them in a class year. And they were just sitting there, and I said, okay, I can say this if it's true, and it is, for this entire class, every student in this first period passed the assessment. This classroom erupted, and I erupted with them because I'd been holding it. So they were up out of their seats. The big boys were jumping up and down and hugging each other and hugging me, and the mean girls, the tough girls, were giggling, and just the pride, the excitement. It was like we had won the lottery. And the amazing thing, we got to repeat that celebration in 3 more class periods that day. 100%. In the other 2 class periods, I had a couple of students that missed by a question or two. But gosh, after never to that, we decided we were all rock stars. We were all celebrating, and we went to a Chinese restaurant for lunch. 111 students and 2 teachers on school buses piled into the restaurant. 0 discipline problems, 0 behavior issues. 100% magical. Because what these students had unlocked wasn't math ability, it was meaning. And yes, my title was teacher, but these beautiful young people taught me the most valuable lesson. If we unlock what we're truly capable of, and it's simple, we can do it in 4 simple steps. Sometimes everything changes by what can be added. Belief, encouragement, a voice that says, your effort matters. Sometimes everything changes by what gets taken away. Labels, shame, that feeling of being not enough. And when belief meets effort, things begin to multiply. Confidence, energy, possibility. And when things are difficult, we divide them into smaller steps, bite-sized chunks. One problem, one step, one moment at a time. These simple symbols that have survived centuries are with us today. And recently, the world agreed on another symbol, almost overnight, when our world was difficult. Classrooms moved online, families were isolated, and life moved onto our screens. This symbol sprung up almost overnight. In yoga, we say namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. Maybe this symbol says something similar. I see you. I'm with you. We are connected. So, the next time you face a difficult situation, at work, or in a relationship, or even within yourself, ask those 4 simple questions. What needs to be added? What can I take away? What's worth multiplying? And where can I divide it into smaller steps? And because life involves people, remember to keep this as the connection between us. The symbols are simple. The meaning changes everything, and that about sums it up. Thank you.